And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a game called Bidder Up, the game of bargaining, bidding, and bluffing. Now, the front of this box didn't really do anything for me when I saw it. I was wondering about it. I thought, well, it looks interesting. It's from Ravensburger, and I think Ravensburger is a good company. When I read over the rules, I said, this seems really familiar. This reminds me a lot of a card game that I love called You're Bluffing. I look in the rules, and lo and behold, the game is based on the card game You're Bluffing. You're Bluffing is one of my favorite card games of all time, in which you're trying to get sets of animals and bluff other people to get their animals from them. Well, this has some, well, this is essentially the same thing as a board game. Let me show you. The goal of the game is to get the most points. I'm going to show you the advanced game, and then at the end I'll mention the differences between that and the basic game. You're trying to collect sets of animals. There are 3 animals of each type, so here are the 3 cows, for example. And at the end of the game, if you have all 3 cows, they're going to be worth a total of 800 points, times the number of sets that you have. So if I had 2 sets total, these cows would be worth 1,600 points. As the game goes by, it's possible that the values will change of the different animals. So they could be worth different amounts. They could be as high as 1,200 or as low as 10. But even getting a set of animals that's worth 10 can be useful because it will increase the multiplier that your other animals cost. As the game goes by, you're going to be collecting sets of animals, but you can't, once you have all 3, they're put in here and no one can take them from you. So when you have the full set of 3, but until then, they're out here, and there's a possibility that other players can trade you to take the animals away from you. So the game revolves around this board here. On a player's turn, they're going to roll a die. That's going to show 1, 2, or 3 spaces, and that's how many spaces they can move. They can move clockwise around the outer track, or they can move up here. If a player wishes to move more or less than the amount that they've rolled, they can do so, but they're going to need to pay money. Now, at the beginning of the game, everyone is going to get money. You're going to get $0 bills, $10 bills, and 50s. Now, if you want to move an extra space on the board, you can pay 1 card. Doesn't matter what type. If you want to move another space after that, the second space will cost you 2, the third space will cost you 3. So honestly, moving more than 1 or 2 is too much. Those are going to be placed up here on this money board here and put face down. When a player lands on a pig icon, they can take 5 cards from the top of that deck. Hopefully they have some monetary value to them. Most of what players are going to be doing is auctioning off animals. When you land on a spot that shows an auction, a gavel symbol, you're going to take the mini gavel that comes with the game and you're going to have an auction. Now in this setup here, this will be a classic auction. There are all different types of auctions that the game includes, including a few auctions that work specifically with 2 players. The back will tell you how many players, and it will tell you how the auction works. Some auctions are going to be for the number of cards. Some auctions are going to be for money value. So for example, a classic auction, everyone just starts shouting out bidding, and eventually you go going once, going twice, going 3 times. In any auction, the final bid, let's say I'm auctioning off this cat, someone bid $90 for it. The auctioneer can take the $90 and that person gets the cat, or they can pay that person $90 and they take the cat. That's available in every auction. In Pig and a Poke, you show the 3 animals that are there, shuffle them up, only 2 are, the auctioneer knows which one's not involved, and then people are going to bid on that the same way as with a classic. With secret value, everyone bids secretly an amount of money, whoever bids the most gets it. In Dutch, you're going to be bidding, counting down, so you put the gavel in the middle of the table, you say 10, 9, 8, the first person to grab it has to pay that many money cards. And they're going to get 2 animals here, while these on the outside you get 1. And again, you can mix these up and take different kinds of auctions. Another thing that players can do is when they land on here, they can adjust the market. They can discard money cards to the discard pile to move these market things up or down. To move an animal once costs 1 card, to move them twice costs 3 cards, 1 plus 2, to move them 3 times costs 6, etc. And then if you go to the middle, you can pay to get raffle tickets. Some raffle tickets are randomly placed in the middle of in the bag in the beginning of the game. You can pay for up to 3 tickets, 1 bill for each ticket. Take these out of the bag, draw them, and keep one of them, throwing the rest back in the bag. These are going to do different things. These tokens here, whoever has the most of this token at the end of the game is going to get the sheep, pig, rooster, weird mutant animal. And this is worth no points, but counts as an extra set for multiplying points. Also, players have a chance to get things like this here, which will increase the value of cats 300 or any other one set by 100. And there are also tiles that you can get that will allow you to do some sort of action with them when you draw them. Now, players can also land here, and this is where they're going to trade another animal. If you have the same animal someone else does, so let's say I have a cow and you have a cow. I can make you an offer for your cow. I'm going to put a certain number of bills down on the table. So I say, here's 4 bills. Now you have a choice. You can take these bills and I get your cow. And then you look at them and I gave you a 50. Or you can make me a counteroffer, as many bills as you want. When you make someone a counteroffer, both sides get all the bills that they paid, and then whoever paid the most gets the cow. So why would you not make a counteroffer? Well, let's say I was offering you 110, and you're like, oh, he's lying to me. So then you offer me 50 back. I still get the cow, you still get 110, but you also gave me 50. So if you feel like the other person is making you a good offer, you just take it and give them the animal. The amount of money is static in the game until a golden donkey is auctioned off. So there's many different animals, but whenever a donkey is auctioned off, then each player is going to get another bill added to their hand. So the first time it happens, a $100 bill. The second time it happens, $200. And the third time it happens, $500 will be added to each player's hand. So the amount of money is going to change. The game is going to end when all the raffle tickets are gone from the bag, or when all the animals have been auctioned off. And if you have a set that's not complete, it doesn't count for anything at that point, and then scores are added like I mentioned earlier. If you want to see the other side of the board, this is the normal side of the board. It's very similar, except there's no raffle tickets and there's no market. You can't manipulate the prices of the animals. Everything else other than that is pretty much the same. Most points is the winner of the game. Now, a board game version of a card game does not always work. For example, Bonanza did not work very well as a board game. But this time it does. There is the advanced game and the basic game. I highly prefer the advanced game. I like the raffle tickets, but even more, I like the market and manipulating the market. It's very minor. You can only manipulate the market of an animal that has not yet been taken as a full set. Once you've taken the full set, you take the token and you flip it over to a red side to show that that one has been locked. But I really like how that, the prices can change, and that roosters, which I have for 10, is now suddenly, it's up to 150, and that makes it worth a little bit more. This game has always had some weird math to it, and in fact, the rule book on the last page shows you how to multiply all the sets in case, you don't want to get out a calculator and do the math. But it's, again, kind of funky. You're like, oh, the horses are the best. They're worth 1,000, and roosters are 10. That is 100 times less than horses. You're right, but a rooster can multiply the pig that I took. The pig being worth 650 is now worth 1,300, being doubled. And that's better than the horse. So that sort of thing is really interesting. The auctions in this game are your typical auctions, and I'm not a huge fan of auctions, but they work here. You have different kinds of money, and I especially like the auctions that use cards, and I love Dutch auctions. Just love Dutch auctions. That's my favorite auction in the game. But what makes this game? Not the market manipulation, not the raffle tickets, not the rolling and moving around the board, which sounds bad, but actually works really well and keeps that money pile supplied, where if you need to grab some money, you can. I find that really cool. This game is on those trading spaces. That is such a fascinating part of this game. You have a cow, I have a cow. I offer you 4 cards, and then the game begins. And I say, listen, these are really good cards. And you say, you're lying to me. You lied to me last time. You gave me 3 zeros. I'm like, that proves the point. I don't even have any zeros left to give you. You're like, no, but I saw you get all those cards from the pile, and I'm pretty sure Susan put some zeros in there, and I said, listen, these are really good cards. Now, you can make me a counteroffer, and I'm okay with you making me a counteroffer because that gives me money, plus I'm taking your cow. And this kind of bluffing and double talk is so good. It's so fun. And when they get the cards, to see the look on people's faces, you put that much money, wow. Or, I just took your bed and I gave this to you and you gave me 4 zeros and a 10. I love it. I love your bluffing. This has everything your bluffing does and more. It's not that long of a game and it works with 2 players. It's interesting to see the auction, but I think I like it best at its maximum of 4 players. And even the basic game, even though I prefer the advanced game, the basic game is not bad. It is slightly faster and just the whole thing is really neat. Again, I'm afraid a lot of people are going to pass this by because they're going to say, better up, farm animals, whatever, what's next? But this is highly entertaining. I love this game. I'm adding it to my collection because it's so much fun for me, and it took one of my favorite card games and made a full-fledged game around it. Definitely check it up. Bitter up. Check it out, not check it up. Dice Tower Judgment, amazing!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door!